Well, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, so it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful out there. I'm curious, before we get into your
Yeah,
work and your
yeah,
career, I want to know first and foremost, the 4 years ago this pandemic began and it did quite a
yeah.
thing for all of us. How did you get through that time period and how did it change you?
My business exploded because all of a sudden I went virtual,
Yeah,
as many people did. And I still do live events,
yeah.
big people into big rooms. And all of a sudden Zoom was able to, went into a TV studio. Flew on a plane on a mask to a TV studio, went into a room, huge screens, the whole deal, and whammo. And I've never looked back. So, I mean, there's that part, and then there's the emotional
Yeah.
tale of my family life. Let's not go into that, but it did a lot of expansion and it did a lot of contraction.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As a coach and as somebody that teaches and helps people, if I was to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day and one of the kids really wanted to know what you did on a daily basis and they were like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
Such a great question. Uh, what do I do for a living? I I support people to know how great they are and to take action towards that greatness.
So I'm curious, what did you want to be when you were in that position, when you were in the third grade? What was your dream?
Um, all I know is I had to be good. If you want the psychology side, all I had to be was a good kid. So I was just a good kid. But when I hit high school, I wanted to be an actor, and I was an actor for 10 years.
Okay. All right.
So
What
I
was
did
that
that.
like? What was it?
Wild, fantastic ride of New York City and LA. Fantastic. Did soap operas and some movies and the whole deal. So never really made it, quote unquote.
Yeah. There was a movie that was on years ago. I always remember it. It was about extras and they focused in
Yes.
on what they're supposed to do and how they do it. So sometimes I'll start daydreaming when I'm watching a film, looking at
Yeah.
all the extras,
Yeah. In the
and then I'll
background.
lose
Yeah.
the plot line and I gotta
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
back. But
No. Yeah, they're called background. They're
yeah,
just, yeah, background.
but it's
I did a
amazing.
lot of background.
Yeah, I mean, but it's amazing how good they are and how you feel like you're in that situation
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
it's
the director's watching, and if you're not a good background, you're off the set. Like,
oh
you're an
yeah.
actor. I mean, they go hire people who are actors for background.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, this documentary was fascinating. Just something
Yeah.
you don't think
Yeah.
about.
Right.
So let me ask you this. How did we get here? Tell me where you were born and raised and how these seeds of getting into entertainment, acting, and then becoming a teacher and coach. How did all of these seeds get planted in you and grow into who you are as a pro today?
I'll do the short version. Born and raised in Jersey. My dad was worked for General Motors for 40 years. Think Mad Men without all the money.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
A lot of drinking, a lot of smoking. I'm a
Yeah.
70s, 60s, 70s kid.
Yeah.
And good Christian kid, right? That whole game. And then I realized I was gay, and I came out of the closet. That didn't go well. There's a whole movie inside that I'm writing the script for. And my church turned on me and my family turned on me a little bit. It's all worked out on the backside now. But I went off to college and auditioned for a play and got into it, and that went well. And fast forward, jumped to New York City. Where you go to New York City. And in New York City, I met a guy who was helping actors get work, but not from being a better actor, being more interesting when you went into the audition. So how do you stand out? And his name was Henry House, and Henry House and two other people were the founders of what is called the Coaches Training Institute, the largest life coaching school in the world.
Yeah.
So I was an early adopter of their work. I did one workshop with them, and then there was a second workshop, and then they said we need trainers, and that took off like lightning. So I then was on the road for 25 years, literally 25 years, 3,000 workshops later, public and corporate, to train people to become life coaches, business coaches. That whole coaching concept just took off. And then I wrote a book about it. It's called Play Your Bigger Game. and turn it into my own brand. And here we are now with my work in the world and talking more about how to have people play their bigger game. It's a metaphor for what are you really up to, because life is happening to you or life is happening through you.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You've obviously needed to have good levels of inspiration in your life. Who's been
Yes,
that hero for you? Who's been that inspiration?
there's a couple. I would love to say everybody's supposed to say their dad. It was not my dad. It was my oldest brother. Wanted to be a professional baseball player, so he went for it. So there was a lot of I'm championing for my oldest brother to go for it because he went for it.
Yeah.
He didn't make it, but he was the person who said, "Go figure this out." Right. And then I had a coach. I still have a coach. I talk to a person twice a week about my life and what's happening. Um, so that's certainly a hero. He's still with us on the planet, so I feel very blessed.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. If you can meet one person alive on the planet that you find fascinating and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Only pick one.
Hmm. Let's round table it. We can do that.
Um, I want to talk to Brene Brown.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Oprah.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
If you notice, I'm picking women.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk to women.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear from the men right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, and that's what I was gonna mention about the gay and lesbian community. It seemed like there were so many things that were going in a good direction when
Hmm.
Obama was in office. It felt like we were getting rid of this old
Yeah,
antiquated notion of
yeah,
how we treated each other, and things were
yeah,
getting better
yeah,
legislatively with marriage and
yeah.
all of
No,
these things.
he made me legal.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was like just this apocalyptic cloud just dropped. Women don't have rights to get, I mean, and I'm not even talking about abortion. I don't think people understand that. I'm talking about reproductive medicine that's
Yeah,
essential. And the
yeah.
fact that people on this planet can't live the way they want to live and get just treated okay. Like when did all of that start going out the window?
Want my theory on it?
I would love your theory on it because it seemed like things were getting better.
Yeah. Well, metaphorically, it's always two steps forward, one step back.
Yeah.
In the evolution of the consciousness of the human condition, it always moves. It has to. It just has to do it. So
Yeah.
we're having a backwards. So we went pretty far, pretty fast, pretty quick.
Yeah.
The Obama administration was really fast,
Yeah.
and our country and our globe had to kind of push back. And go, oh, that's too much. That's too hard, right? I also think we're in a phase that fear is the motivating factor. Fear is the game. We're in the fear space right now. Fear is the game to play. Fear of running out of money. Fear of getting older. Fear of people coming into the country. Fear, because it's all survival based.
Yeah.
And so politics play with that, and money play. You can go down the marketing campaigns are all fear based, and there's only two. I'm going to get a little metaphysical or spiritual for a second. There's only two energies in the universe. There's really only two. There's fear and there's love,
Yeah.
and a lot in the middle. And you get one of those going, right? And I put Obama and that era into a bit more of an open, connected, somewhat, and other people though were terrified. So
Yeah.
it activated the fear. So there's always polarity in the universe. There has to be positive and negative lives there's heaven, well, I don't believe in heaven and hell, but the concept, right? There's heaven, there's hell, there's up, there's down, there's left, right. So cosmically, you always have to have one or the other. There's shadow, there's light. And I believe the coaching industry has really helped people how to be with all of that. How do I maneuver my way through this crazy quagmire of fear and upset? And then I lose my job. And then do I turn it into something? And do I make something out of it? Or do I get collapsed by it and shut down? And then I just lay on the couch and become right. And the coaching industry comes along and helps people realize how do I be more responsible and response able through all this stuff? And that's what I love the coaching industry, because the coaching industry is not just to go do more. It's a way to live your life consciously and responsibly, and turn down the volume on the blame, turn down the volume on the shame. Shame is about me. I shame me and then I blame you. People are doing it left and right now. I'm either going to shame you or blame me,
Yeah.
or blame you and shame me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm on this, I'm on a kick of this coaching industry is like we are helping people take responsibility for the life they are leading.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to.
Right. Absolutely.
Not
So what
everybody wants to.
Oh, no, I get it. I get it. So what has been your motivating factor every day to
Yeah.
continue to do this, to not only help others, but to evolve? What gets you out of bed? What is kind of the mantra that you live by?
Um, there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
There's always more to learn. There's always more to learn, and there's always more to experience, and there's always more to expand, if you will. Like retirement is not even in my conversation. Like I'm
Yeah.
65. It's not even, I mean, the world tells me, like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? I have neighbors who are like pickleball. Well, let's go play pickleball. I'm like, yeah, really? Not gonna do that today. So, I have 26 clients. I have a thriving business. Um, but the more to learn thing,
Yeah.
I've got 17, I probably got 8 books next to my bed in the next room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Well,
range from like a business book to a spiritual book to a novel to right. It's just all over the map.
all over the place. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Because I think the ultimate skill, I don't know whether to call it a skill or a concept, is this is a phrase I say to my clients a lot. The antidote to your scarcity is creativity.
Yeah.
And during COVID, we got really creative. I mean, people were dying. There was real stuff happening. It was really scary. And then the people who got creative. Do you remember? This is the weirdest thing to connect the dot. But do you remember the sourdough craze
Uh-huh.
during? Right. Here's where I put that into the category of people were like, I cannot be passive anymore. More. I am Netflixed out,
Yeah.
and I have to do something creative. So they started baking. And it started, right? And then social media. Oh, how are you doing your bread? And it became this thing.
Yeah.
That was creativity needing a home. And I believe the job of every human soul on this planet is their job is to step into their creative, what they're here to create, not here to take.
Yeah. What was that Beatles lyric?
Yes.
The love you make is equal to the love you
Yes.
take. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in that territory. So,
Yeah. Well, I think everybody baking bread makes more sense than toilet paper running out.
yeah, I know. I don't remember that. That was all fear-based.
Yeah,
Bread was
of
all
course.
love-based. That's a great bread love-based. Huh, let's break bread and let's break bread together. Interesting.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
toilet paper. Oh my God.
When that was happening, I was like, maybe this is just people that are freaking out for apocalyptic reasons and they're in a
Yeah.
bunker. And
Yeah.
then when I really looked into it, it was the most shallow of American reasons.
Yeah.
It was literally follow the leader and do
Yes.
something dumb.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was sort of like, I know, you just wanted to go, what are you doing?
What is going on?
I actually thought it was entertainment for people too. It's just entertaining.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I
It
mean,
just
it's
becomes
filling
a
the
thing.
void.
We just voyeur, like, oh, and then you tell your neighbor, and we all know how that worked
Yeah.
out.
But what's interesting is I've been creative for a long time. I mean, I've been writing and painting and
Yeah, look at I bet you did the painting behind me.
yeah, that's one of mine.
Fantastic. It's
Yeah, thank you.
fantastic.
And I do shows and
Yeah.
art shows and I stay active. So
Yeah.
creativity, like I'm the same way with retirement. What are you talking about? I'm just doing this.
Making
I
stuff up.
I just I got the pencil and I'm just going way to the
Yeah.
horizon as far as I
Yeah.
can go,
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people out there that are always trying to find some level of why they belong, what they're good at, and
Yeah.
what it all kind of means in that way. Because
Yeah.
as many things as I think I've done on this planet, we've spent a lot of time, even in our lives, as short as it is, there's a lot of time that goes by
Oh,
that
yeah.
to do things. And some people just need to figure out what to do or watch more TV or whatever they got to figure out. So it's wild for sure. Um,
Well, we can choose to either be passive or, proactive. You've heard this term. It's not radical. But I also think are we a consumer or a creator?
yeah,
Most are consumers.
yeah, yeah, for
The
sure.
consuming of television, the iPhone. I mean, right? I mean, oh my God, it's just become one big consumption.
Yeah.
right? It just feeds me, and I don't, and I want to put something on it. So I'm a guy who like, I'm going to put stuff. I mean, you're doing, you're doing a podcast here, like you're putting something on it. You're a
Yeah, right.
creator doing that,
Absolutely. Yeah, which makes the most sense. Let
right?
me ask you this. Of all of the clients that you've had that you've helped, what's one of your favorite client success stories?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. I have a she's a past client, but she calls me once in a while and goes little check-in. Um, she wildly successful in Canada in the conflict management space, in the conflict resolution space is really how to call it. So she's really charming, amazingly. You just want to go for coffee with her and tell her everything. You know, one of those people that you just want to open up. And she uh, just started to get into this space of helping. Like it started with a small company, conflict resolution for a team, and then somebody said, can you help us with this? What happened is now she's in the space, wildly successful in government and land, in Canada, just like in the US, land owned by the original, what do they call them, the folks who are the original owners of the land, like Native Americans, but in,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So there's huge issues. So she's in a room of like 3,000 people working that how to be together and how to figure this out. So wildly successful, makes decent money with it. She's not in it for the money, she's in it for the impact. Really good at it. There's a book coming out about it. I mean, she's really taken off on this. How do we bring people together who are opposing and very, very, you can't have it, we need to have it. It's that dynamic. So wildly successful in that territory. So
Yeah.
she does call me once in a while, like, okay, well, I got this issue. What do you think I should do in this room? And we come
Right.
up with a creative way to handle it rather than just talk at each other, because talking doesn't fix it.
Yeah, for
You have
sure.
to give them an experience of
Yeah.
opening up their hearts,
Yeah.
and then you talk about it. Because
Yeah.
you cannot resolve something from a closed heart.
No, I agree. So, as an avid reader, what was the first book you read that really opened your eyes and really has played a
Oh,
pivotal role?
The Road Less Traveled.
Okay.
M. Scott Peck. Probably do you know it? It's you
I
probably
do
I'm
know
old.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Road
yeah,
Less Traveled. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant personal development book that just opened up your eyes about, are you taking this path or are you taking this path? I don't remember its major concepts, but I remember reading it at 17 going, okay, this is brilliant thinking.
yeah. There's
Right.
always that book. That's
Yep.
that's why I
Yep.
wanted to ask. So you have to give good advice to clients. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Remember, it's all made up.
Yeah. One of my best friends of all time, he always used to tell me I'm fluent in two languages, English and bullshit. It was just it's
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I find myself at big events, like, for the Chiefs, we've won the Super Bowl and we've had
Yeah.
parades and I have kids and we go, and I'm just sitting sometimes at big events and I'm like, who's in charge? Who's in charge of this thing?
Yes. Right.
Because
Right.
there's people coming on stage, you have people with headsets, and
Yeah.
there's things going on, but it's like, who's running
Yeah.
this? And it's just that notion of what you said, like,
I know. Like,
just making it up.
I'm making it up or making it up as fast as we go. And in the context of where the world is, by the way, in the name of my company, it's all made up Inc. It's been the name of my company for 40 years. I was in a workshop years and years ago, and I was like 17, and this guy, I was all twisted in my head about some shit about my life. And he just leaned over and he literally said, you're making all that up. You stop making that up. Like, what are the facts? Well, the facts are this. Okay, well, all that other stuff is made up. I was like, oh my God. It was like,
Yeah,
heavens opened up.
yeah,
So my
absolutely.
point of that is, it's not about data. We're in an era right now of making data up. I want to make sure I contextualize this about making up the story around the data
Yeah,
is the human part, right?
yeah,
Is the
it
what
is.
have we made up about this situation?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, is there really global warming? Is there not global warming? I mean, we're debating that forever, and we know how that works. We don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
interesting. Let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and ran into the 17-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you give that young version of you?
Don't overthink things. Um, don't worry about money so much. Um, um, ask, remember to ask your dad and your mom for wisdom before they die. Um, uh, don't be so good. Be committed. Don't be so good. Don't, and try not to, um, you're loved. You don't have to perform to be loved.
Yeah.
Just do your thing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
loved, right?
So of all of these things that you've done in your life and accomplished and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
I'm proudest of my marriage, 31 years
Very nice.
as a gay man. And there's a joke in our world a little bit. That's 62 years in straight years. Somehow we just, as we are.
Totally.
Wait. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I'm a proud entrepreneur now for 35 years.
Yeah.
That's a wild ride, like to
Yeah.
keep making it up and changing and pivoting, and went through the 2008 recession and lost everything in 2 minutes, and almost lost my house and that whole deal. And I'm proud of the creative resiliency I have. I'm also proud of um I'm a pretty emotional guy. And what I mean by that is I feel deeply. I mean, who doesn't? But I guess who knows if I do more than the average. I let myself have it. Like I have really good days of a really good cry about how hard it is.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. I have
Yeah.
to get it. And I think for men especially, we are so wound.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of my letting myself have the emotional high and lows of being a human inside this thing called an entrepreneur and a business owner. And because it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy what we do. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
just, I live near a Trader Joe's, and I go, oh my God, that looks so much easier. Just be friendly, and $25 an hour, I'll put food in a bag,
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know.
It's like that seems way easier,
Yeah. For sure.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, whatever. It's fine. It's a great life and good for Trader Joe's. By the way, good for them. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
I wish there was one closer to me. I always loved
oh
going.
my
There's one
God.
across town. I love it. So,
It's an event. It's my real estate of my home is affected because I live so close to it.
of course. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
The gold mine for sure.
Oh my- Anyway, we're off on a tangent.
No, no, no. It's good. We've been doing that. We're riffing. So, at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, but you run
Mm,
the show. What's your
mm.
perception of you? Who do you think you are?
What an interesting question. Um, I think I'm a little bit of the mad scientist, or um, the mad director. Let's use movies as still have the stream of making a movie, by the way, before I die. That's not gone away.
Yeah.
But sort of the mad, like, we could do a Broadway show. We could do it's and so I have to focus. But they see me as sort of the master puppeteer or something. That's not the wrong, but like the guy who kind of controls
The
it.
marionette,
Yeah, the
so to speak.
marionette thing. And there's too many marionettes. And my
Yeah.
husband, who runs the business side, he's like, yeah, we have too many marionettes. We need to shut some down.
Yeah.
You're too thin. You're whatever. Because I'm like, oh, let's do another book and let's do another. Like he's like, okay, wait a minute. You only have so many hours in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the creativity side, I think, is what people come to me most for. My clients are like, give me a creative way to, because now I'm helping people with their businesses, and I'm helping with their impact and their messages and their videos and their social media and all that game. Because I really believe it's an impact game. Like
Yeah.
you just bigger impact, bigger life, bigger money. If you want to play the money card, bigger impact, bigger income.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I totally get it.
Right.
So let me ask you this. If anyone wants to get your book, they want to reach out, they want to hire you, learn more about you, any of the good business, where do they go?
Yeah, ricktamlyn.com, ricktamlyn.com. Thank you for the PR moment. Play Your Bigger Game is the book. It's on Amazon. It's been on
Amazing.
Amazon for a number of years. And ricktamlyn.com. And there's a freebie that I can offer, a downloadable, ricktamlyn.com /edutainer, edutainer, EDUTANIER. it's the combination. What I help people do a lot these days is be more engaging and entertaining, because the
Yes.
actor in me is helping quote unquote boring coaches, be more animated,
Yeah.
right? And so that's a freebie I created, because being on fire. I mean, you're incredibly animated. You're incredible. You've got it down,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't have to be over the top,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But there's a way to know, how do you connect? How do you be in the moment, riffing powerfully,
Yeah.
right? And
That's
and
it.
in and a sense of certainty.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
sense of certainty. I mean, you have it right out of the gate, so congrats to the
Thank you.
work you do too.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this has been delightful, Rick. Thank you. I love your story. I love your drive, and we need more of this light spilling into the world because, every one of us plays our part. So I'm so glad that we ran into each other. Keep doing the great work, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, so much. It's a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you.